Welcome to the first edition, the pilot episode, leading the conversation at the Burley Academy. I'm Mr. Bradley and I'm joined today by Miss Bickerstaff. Good afternoon, Miss.
Good afternoon.
Have you got yourself a nice drink for a little chat?
Yeah, got myself a brew as always.
Oh, well, I'm on the water. I've had far too many cups of tea this morning. I'll be tiddling over 9 edges. But what we wanted to do through lockdown is we wanted to show students the importance of keeping in touch with people. Also, we wanted to have a chat, didn't we, Miss? Just let students and let other people who are part of the wider school community know that maybe things they're feeling or experiences they've had in the past are completely normal, and how keeping that conversation, leading the conversation in these difficult times is really important. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we've got loads of stuff planned, haven't we, Miss? We're going to talk about all sorts in the coming episodes, but I think the most appropriate one to talk about today is lockdown.
Absolutely.
And how it's made you feel, really. So how did you feel when you found out we wouldn't be going into school as normal and stuff?
I'll be honest, I was worried.
Mm.
Well, especially in a subject like mine. So for drama, it's been a really challenging year anyway. And then having to face that challenge of it's going to be completely remote. That was worrying for me for school and a school aspect. And obviously just on a personal note, just that I'm going to be spending a much longer time away from friends and family, and that's really, really hard. Yeah.
For me, I agree. I think that what you say about drama relate to completely being a food teacher. Even though I don't teach as much as I used to, one of the favourite parts and reasons I got into the profession was I love cooking and I love teaching people to cook and I love their skills develop. And I'm sure you're the same with drama.
Absolutely.
And being removed from your friends and family is something I can completely relate to, because on Saturday, for example, this week, it's my sister's 30th birthday. I'm not going to see my sister on her 30th birthday. That's awful.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's my 30th this year as well, and so my friends are starting to turn 30. It's actually my best friend's 30th today. So not being able to be with her and see her is just really sad.
That's why I think doing things like this or watching things like this where, you know, you can understand how it's not only difficult for you, because if you're not careful during these times, I think it's really easy to start blaming yourself that, oh, I'm an idiot, or this is wrong, and why do I have to put up with this? And it's unfortunately something we're all dealing with, and we're all dealing with it in different ways. And I think it's natural, as you say, to be a little bit worried, but also I look at it as being an opportunity to do something like this. And in terms of my job at school and my schoolwork, I'm using the time to try out new things and to get ready for when we do get to go back into the building with all the students there.
Definitely. Yeah, it's hard. It's that motivation as well, isn't it? Because I've got that will and that want, but then it actually putting things into action is different and hard to sort of go through with, and that's something I'm trying to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I think students as well, much like us teachers, even though we're quite good actors, so they'll never know this, but sometimes getting up and getting into school is the best way to get on with doing the work by being. Obviously, learning from home is a big challenge that they're all embracing, and it's just like the challenge for us having to get used to working at home. It's a lot easier to get ready for a lesson when, you know, it starts at 9 o'clock, whereas until we start going live with some of the lessons, it has been difficult. And I can imagine that some students have found it really stressful, and I think it's really important that we just give them the message that that's normal. It don't be strange if you didn't feel like your routine had been turned upside down a little bit by this.
Definitely. Yeah.
So what would be your number one tip, Miss, for surviving lockdown? You remembered
Good
first
question.
time?
Like, well, basically this, being in touch with people.
Mm-hmm.
Go-to thing. If I feel a certain way, maybe, you know, text a friend or set up a FaceTime or whatever and chat to people and talk to people. Generally, obviously about how you're feeling, but also just about different things, and I think that's really important.
I agree. I think being in touch with people's vital, and I also think often when you speak to somebody, they might not be as explicit as saying, "Oh, I'm so happy you've got in touch," but you can probably tell by the way they respond to you. Sometimes you might text a mate and you don't get a text back for a couple of days, and it can seem like, oh, they don't care. But I think the more I've reached out throughout this last year or so, when we've had to deal with all the COVID restrictions, I think it's been quite refreshing, and in a weird way, it's made me realise who my friends really are. And I have friends more than I would normally when I've got, you know, my busy life and things like that. And I think that whole idea of reaching out, as you say, is vital. I think it's a really, really important thing to do. For me, surviving lockdown, it was all about, I have to have some structure. I have to give myself things to do in a day. Like, I've always been someone who's wrote to-do lists, but like they're almost like become the vital part of my daily routine. Like, I don't feel like I can get going without one, and I don't feel like I can end the working day at least until I've wrote one. And I think having things to aim for in terms of what you're going to accomplish in a day can be really, really powerful. And I think the students finding that difficult, you know, to get the work done, getting themselves a bit of paper and jotting that down, it's quite therapeutic, scribbling things off as you go through the day.
Definitely. Small targets that we can meet is important. That's something I've tried to focus on.
Absolutely, because sometimes if you try to worry about everything you've got to do, it can be a bit intimidating.
Definitely.
So in terms of the next couple of episodes of this, we're going to look at all sorts. We're hoping to get some other teacher guests on and talk about well-being and various other things in different ways. But when you see this video, if you like it and you have any questions you'd like me or Miss Bickerstaff to answer, please do email your form tutors and they'll pass that on to us, because you can't comment on the video, or you could email me or Miss directly. And potentially, who knows, we could look to get some students on to have an open discussion about things in the future. But at the moment, it's going to be staff only. But it's been good to catch up, Miss, this afternoon. And hopefully, by the time it is your 30th, we'll be able to actually do something. You'll be able to celebrate appropriately.
Hopefully, either way, I'll get to celebrate in some way, won't I?
Through Zoom and keeping in touch with people. Okay, so it's been great to start leading the conversation at the Burley Academy this afternoon. And I look forward to seeing what we